Okay, so this is then part 3 of the top-down programming logic. In part 2 we uh, essentially started discussing the login logic, and we were given a task um, where essentially someone was giving us a username and password and wanted to check if the to authenticate if the user is already logged in, and so on, and the response should be an array of result true or false, and the error equals problem. Now, so this morning we finished yesterday, and the team said, well, wait a minute, you didn't quite fulfill everything that we said here. And I then stood up and said, well, wait a minute, there's no procedure here. You know what I mean? You need to come to me with saying exactly what you want, and then I'll do that. All right? And the other person saying, well, I'm a programmer and you're a programmer. We need some way of communicating together. I give you a contract and you've got to fulfill it. Right? It's as simple as that. So they're like, well, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do is you write the stuff that you need and I'll implement it. Alright, and I think that's a good idea now. So the programmer who says I need this and I need this class with these methods and they should all return this data, he passes me that one contract as such, and I've got to implement that for him or for her. Alright, and you're thinking, alright, great, well this is really simple, isn't it? It's really simple. Let's just make like maybe an interface. Okay, so that's what their task is to do, is to make an interface of what they need, okay, and description of what they want it to have, and it's then our job to implement that. All right. So the what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of scroll back a little bit, because sometimes you can get into something and start doing it and think, well, wait a minute, maybe I wasn't doing it the correct way here. Maybe I should have done it a little bit of another way. And going on, we can see where the problem is gonna arise here. Okay, because there wasn't any formal contract between the two programmers. So let's go back and let's make a so we're going to say I login, which is what essentially the programmer who's requesting the information from us has done. So we're going to say login interface. Okay, interface. All right, and this is now an interface of essentially what we're doing is we're not the programmer of the login class anymore. We're the person who's going to be giving our requests to that person. Alright? Now, what we need to give to them first of all is we need to give them the username and password. If we go back to the beginning, that's the main thing that we need to do. So what we're going to say is we're going to say public function and set username. So we're contracting them that we are going to set a username, and we're going to contract to them that we're going to set password. Alright, and we want, as the developer who's got to continue on with the other stuff, we want to know is active. Whoops. We want to know if the user is active, and we want set cookie name. Yep. Set cookie name, and we want then set domain, and we're going to tell them that we want set expires. cookie expires. So this is going to be a timestamp. We want by using timestamp, then everyone can. It's easier to take a timestamp and turn it into the time format that you want. All right, rather than is it going to be then day, month, year, or year, and is the time coming after it, or how is it going to be? You know, whereas a timestamp, you give someone a timestamp, it's just a number, and then they can change it into the format that they want. All right, it's as simple as that. So that's what we want. Right, we're giving them we're setting a username for them. We're setting a password for them. We want to know if it's active. We're setting the cookie name that we want set, and we're setting the domain that we want, and we're also setting when the cookie should expire. All right. Now, do we need anything else? Let's have a think about this. Do we need anything else? Is active, and we want then, essentially, we want to know what the error is. We want to know what the error is. Okay, and we're going to say, upon executing, right, all of this, we want this to return a value. Alright, so to me this is the most important thing, is we're going to give it an explanation of what it is that we want. Execute. This method should execute the whole process. All other pieces of data, such as the username, password, cookie name, expires, domain, will, so we're going to say will be set prior to this method call. I'm going to say this method should return true or false. True based on the user being logged in successfully. False based on the user not being logged in successfully. And we'll say if the user is not logged in successfully, we want to know that we can call get error to know the error which occurred. Alright, and we're saying that it should return boolean, and it doesn't take any parameters. Alright, it's as simple as that. So that's what we want. And get error returns an error message if an error has happened during the login process. If no error has occurred, then null should be returned. Okay, so now this is making it ambiguous here, because it could return null and it could return a string. Okay, so we want to know that get error only returns a string, full stop, that's it, if an error has happened. When, not if, when an error has happened during the login process. So we want to know that return is a string, that's it. And we want them to do, we're going to say has errors. Has errors, so if there was an error during the process, then has errors should return true. Okay, if no errors, then return false. Okay, so we know that the return type of this is Boolean. Yep. Okay, good stuff. So we know that we've got to, we can start reading through this and knowing that what we've got to set. And here, for example, we're going to say it's a double. All right. Now, a double is a long number. An integer. I'm not going to get into this, but a double is far bigger than what an integer is. All right. So we can give them a longer number. Okay. So we're going to put here set cookie expires, indicates when the cookie should expire. Return void. Okay, we don't need anything for that, and we're going to copy this, change this, indicates which domain the cookie should be active for. Okay, and this is going to be then string as domain, and it returns void. Once again, set cookie name, indicates which domain, indicates the name of the cookie, the name of the cookie which should be used. Okay, so that's doing that now. And is active, what we want them to do is if the user is already logged in, then this method should return true. If user is not logged in, then return false. And return Boolean once again. Okay. Set passwords. Sets the password which you should use to test against the password which has been stored in the database. All sanitization has already been carried out, and also SQL injection, and also for SQL injection. So we're telling them is that, hey, we're giving you a password and we've done everything for you. All right, simply just test against the password. That's it. and we're going to copy this. I'm going to go username. This is type of string. So set username, sets the username which you use to test against the username which has been stored in the database. Also annotation has been carried out, and also for SQL injection. Okay, so that's, in my eyes, everything that we need from the other person. You know, we're giving them a username, we're giving them a password. Good. We want to know if the user is already active. We're telling them what the cookie name we want to be set is. We're telling them what domain which domain it should be set for. We're telling them how long the cookie should be valid for, or when it expires. We want to know if there's any errors, and if there is an error, we want to get the error, okay, which returns a string. And finally, we want to know executes. Okay, but what we're also going to say is we're going to say log out. Actually, you know what? That's and the final one, which we're going to do, is update last login. And we're going to tell them, hey, look, if you've already accessed the database and you've got that one user, then we want to know that you've that you update the information of when the user last logged in. Okay, we don't want to be doing that because you've already accessed it, so you can do it there. You know, why repeat another call? Okay. So we're going to say to them, once a test has been completed, that the user exists and a cookie has been set, the last logged in column cell should be updated with a new timestamp. That's it. That's as much as we want. So, and this we're going to say boolean. We want to know that it's been done. Okay. Okay. So that's our interface that we've now handed over to the other team. All right. And after we had our meeting, and there was a little bit of discrepancies between the two programmers, they're like, right, okay, put it behind us. What I'll do, so me as the person who needs the login class, I'll say, okay, fine, I'll write an interface explaining everything I need, okay, and then tomorrow morning I'll give it to you. All right. And the developer says, fine, as long as I've got your login interface tomorrow, I will then implement that one login interface. I will rejig it, and I will give you back a login class. Okay, and the developer who wants the login class, who's done the login interface, says, good, the rest I will do. Okay, the other stuff you don't need to do. Okay, so where the developer can do this and do that, don't worry about that. As long as you fulfill all of these things here, I'll do it. Alright, so to finalize this one video, this here is top to bottom. Okay, it's the developer is writing down the interface and saying, I don't care how you get it done, but just do this. Okay, it's as simple as that. This is all I want to know. Alright, and then the developer of the login class itself, he knows, she knows, right, this is all I've got to do. As long as I fulfill all of these things on here, I can make a whole bunch of private methods, because he doesn't need to use them. I can make private private. No, it's gone. Properties. I can make private properties of the class because he doesn't need to use them. She doesn't need to use them. All right. That's it. So that's it done. So in the next video, we're going to then rejig our code that we did in the previous video to fulfill this one login interface to give back our login object. All right. So it's kind of a way of showing you, well, where should you start? And this is the place that you should start, is work out what it is that you want to do first, okay, rather than focusing on the small things. You know, just work out what it is and what you want to do. Alright, so that's enough. I'll see you in the next video where we'll start implementing all of these methods once again. We're going to have to rejig it all, but we'll implement it once again. Alright, thank you for watching. Bye bye then.